It has been 3 years since Kosoglo, Tirak, and Chrysalis was released from the stone prison. They were actually offered by Twilight an offer to be reformed. She gave them two options: either be trying to be reformed or two, go back to stone prison. And surprising to Twilight and her friends that they were willing to reform. Even though Twilight is mostly her friends were so very skeptical about this particular idea, or even was serious about it. But even when they heard Twilight's proposal to release the three of the biggest villains in history, even her friends were very skeptical, and they would try to argue about Twilight. How would you even go? How she would even get along with why she even came up with this idea and why that? But Twilight pointed out one good point: Discord. Discord used to be one of the biggest threats, even one of the biggest villains to the kingdom of Equestria for a long time, and he proved to be reformed. So why wouldn't Terek, Kosoglo, and Chrysalis give it the same option? So even though that her friends were still a little not happy about this idea, but they went along with it. Kosoglo had been offered by Rarity to look after her for about a month, and Chrysalis was offered by Twilight to be her to look after her for about a month. But she put two guards by her side when if Twilight couldn't look after her herself during the day, since now she was the new ruler of the Equestria. And Tirek, he was actually offered by both Big Macintosh and Applejack to look after him to see that he actually were so if he has even reformed. They made a plan to all of them to meet up in Canterlot after 1 month to see if they actually had reformed or not, to determine their fate. Even though the Twilight has suggested that Rarity and Applejack writes a letter to her maybe once a week, just to have some sort of update what's going on. So after a month though, things started to look up very quite unsurprising, because after a month, both Chrysalis, Tirek, and Kosoglo once again met at the Canterlot Castle along with Applejack and Rarity. Twilight asked each one of them to see if they really was still honest about this to be reformed. She asked both Tirek and Chrysalis and even Kosoglo, each one of them, what they have been up to for the past month. And of course, even though Twilight knows about what Chrysalis has been up to, but she still wants to have her to inform the others, so that they wouldn't lie. And when they were finished, Twilight asked Rarity and Applejack if this what Tirek and Chrysalis and Kosoglo had said was confirmed, or if there was any lies there. But they both confirmed everything they had said was actually the truth. After about a month, they didn't have to have any guards. They were allowed to walk around in public. Even though when Twilight was already aware that when Kosoglo and Tirek was living in Poland, there were a lot of ponies who, despite them, refused to even get them even near them, even talk to them. But the only ones that actually allowed them to be friendly towards was actually Kudamar Crusaders. And even themselves were a little bit skeptical about this, Kosoglo had actually reformed. But to surprise it to themselves, that Kosoglo was actually really honest, that she really wanted to be reformed. And after this, Tirek and Chrysalis actually had been offered, both by Twilight and their original homes, they from their original homes, they were allowed to go back home. Tirek was offered by his younger brother Scorpion, who is still alive, to be returned home, and Chrysalis, who has been offered by King Thorax to be part of the Changing Kingdom again. Even if she didn't want to be reformed to the new design, the new form of them, but they were both surprisingly they was willing to do so. So they all spent one last day before Tirak returned back home. Chrysalis went back to the Crystal Changing Kingdom. What about what about Kosoglow? Her family had moved away from Ponyville 3 years earlier after when she was still in the Storm prison. So Rarity offered to be like her adopted mother, which Kosoglow didn't mind. But at first, there was still a lot of many ponies in town who rejected to even talk to her. But slowly, other little students from the school like Diamond Tiara, Silver Spoon, and others, they started to open up and even to accept her as that she really was honest. But there was something about this though, because Cozy Glow has started to spend more time with CMC and Diamond Tiara, because she relies to them, especially Diamond Tiara, because she reminds her herself when she was in the past, because she found out about Diamond Tiara used to be a bully, who bullied a lot of others, especially cutie mark crusaders, before they even had their cutie marks. But after she realized her mistake, not to be a bully, but she could have more friends, even including the cutie mark crusaders. So Kosoglow and Diamond Tiara, they actually start spending more time together. Even after first that Diamond Tiara thought maybe that she was just a good friend. But there was something about her that she couldn't stop thinking, or even try to figure out exactly. Even Kosoglow herself was really skeptical that Diamond Tiara or any other students would accept her. Because now she was actually a student at under the teaching of Miss Shirley. Even though when she went there the first day, she was very scared how the others would even react or even accept her as a friend or not. And in fact, the first few days she really had a hard time. The only ones that talked to her was actually CMC. The others, they didn't even want to talk to her or even want to look at her. Even though that they know that to try to accept her despite she has proved to be reformed. But eventually, slowly, Diamond Tiara, Silver Spoon, accepted her as a friend. Because Diamond Tiara mentioned to Kosoglow that she used to be quite similar to herself. That she was always mean to others, like especially those ponies in her own class, like CMC. That surprised Kosoglow, and CMC did confirm that she used to bully them a lot before they even had the cutie marks. But now they're all friends. Even though that Kosoglow, when she really was expecting that the others probably still hate her, despite what has been going on. But eventually, the others started to accept her, and soon all the students at the school actually were her friends. But there was still some other adults, grown-ups in the pony mills that who tried to avoid her for some reasons, but eventually they started to also slowly open up and to accept her as a friend. Even when sometimes when Kosoglow comes home, she finds that Rarity is either busy with her some of the boutique work or she was just sitting down having some tea. She often asks Kosoglow how school has been, and even at the beginning, after those first few days after she had started going to the school, she told Rarity that was she had a hard time. No pony really wanted to talk to her, except for CMC and Mr. Lee. Even when Rarity heard that the only CMC was the only one to talk to her, she was proud that her younger sister, Sweebelle, actually had accepted Kosoglow as a friend. But Rarity always confirmed to her and even assured her that the others will open up and accept her. Just give it a time it will happen. Even though Kosugla herself was skeptical about this, even that the others would even accept her all. But she listened to Rarity and had her words in her heart, just give it a time. And eventually, she was right. The others slowly opened up and took her as a friend. She was really happy that the others actually had accepted her. But eventually, something different would happen. Because one day, when Rarity and Cozy Glow and Sweetie Belle were at the park just for having some ice cream, this was during summer break. They were just hanging out at the park before Rarity had to go back to the boutique. Cozy Glow was asked if she wanted to go back to help her, but Rarity said that she could stay here with Sweetie Belle, just hang out with her friend, just staying there. And she agreed. But it was something that Kozugla wanted to tell Sweetie Belle after that Rarity had left, because she was a bit shy how to even to mention this around Rarity. So when she did say to Sweetie Belle, she has something that she wanted to tell, and she had to make a pinky promise, and she did. She then asked what secret it was. Kozugla looked around and whispered that she had a crush on some pony at school. Sweetie Belle looked a little curious and asked who. But that was one thing that Kuzuglo at first didn't want to reveal. Even the Sweetie Belle tried and tried to convince her to tell him, but after a while she agreed to do that. But as long as she didn't tell any other pony, especially the other Kingdom Crusaders. And Sweetie Belle made another pinky promise. She revealed it was Diamond Tiara. She had another crush on her for about 2 months now. And that surprised Sweetie Belle. After all, they had spent a lot of time together, so they were not surprised her at all. They get well along, and they had a lot of things in common, and they spent a lot of time. So they were surprised her that Sweetie Belle, in her mind, that Kusuglo would fall in love with Diamond Tiara. But then she asked her if she had told Diamond Tiara. But Kusuglo shook her head and said no, she hadn't. She doesn't know how Diamond Tiara would even react, or if she would just say that she only likes her as a friend and nothing more. But Sweetie Belle told her if she doesn't tell her, she may lose the opportunity or chance of even to do that. But the only advice Sweetie Belle could give Kozuglo was that one day that Diamond Tiara may find someone else to be with, and you may have lost your opportunity to tell her. So I suggest maybe that you try to find a way, a moment when you can tell Diamond Tiara. Even though that was something that Kozuglo thought about. But later that evening at dinner, Rarity saw that Kozuglo wasn't speaking much, or she was quite a little bit quieter than she usually is. She asked her if something was wrong or if something has happened. But Kozuglo assured her nothing is wrong or nothing has happened. She was just a bit quiet because she was just enjoying the dinner. So Rarity accepted that. But even though that deep down in Kozuglo's mind, is it really that I should be with Diamond Tiara? She didn't want to tell her because she had no idea if Diamond Tiara would accept her or that she would reject her immediately, lose a friend. But eventually, Kozuglo decided to tell Diamond Tiara just before the summer break was over. But sadly, though, that when she was about to tell Diamond Tiara, she found out from Silver Spoon that she wasn't in town. She was out of town for the next couple of weeks, at least for 2 weeks. She was spending some time with some relatives out of town, and she had to wait for another 2 more weeks. And so during that time, she spent a lot of time with with their Kumar Crusaders, Rumble, and even Silver Spoon involved. But after 2 more weeks, Diamond Tiara was finally home. And, of course, she really wanted to tell Diamond Tiara right away. But every time she tried, she was either with her mom or with Silver Spoon. She wanted to be around her alone, and she was almost giving up hope to find the right opportunity to even do it. But when one day, just only about a few days before the summer break was over, Kozuglo was just walking around at the park, and she ran into Diamond Tiara, alone, no Silver Spoon. So she thought maybe this was the right moment. So she asked Diamond Tiara if she could tell her something, and she said yes. Diamond Tiara then explained that she was willing to listen, and Kozuglo told her about her feelings towards her. She was expecting that Diamond Tiara probably would laugh at her or say that she only likes her as a friend, nothing more, but there was nothing. She was silent, and Kozuglo thought maybe that she had made a bad mistake. Before anything that Diamond Tiara can even answer, she just turned around and took off. She ran all the way back to Rarity's boutique, hiding in her own room. Rarity was at the boutique at the moment, so she didn't notice that. But that same afternoon, Kozuglo, lying on her bed, just laying there, thought to herself, I made a terrible mistake. And she refused to leave the house for the next couple of days until Soon was back again. But then she realized she will see Diamond Tiara at the school, and she will try to act as nothing has happened, or if that what she said never even happened. So when school was back again, she went back there. Surprising. Diamond Tiara wasn't there for the past two first days, because it turns out she had fallen ill with a small summer flu, but nothing serious. And after about a few days, she was back in school again. But back then, but then, by then, Kozuglo was expecting that Diamond Tiara had forgotten all about what she said. But during the first recess, Diamond Tiara walked up to her and asked if she could talk for a moment. And Kozuglo tried to avoid talking to her, but she did eventually allow that to happen. Diamond Tiara asked her what she meant, what she said to her at the park was really honestly, or if it was some sort of joke, because she was just curious. Kozuglo said that all of that was real. She will actually have a crush on her. But Kozuglo said that she understands if that Diamond Tiara doesn't even like her the same way back. But before she could finish, Diamond Tiara leaned forward and kissed Kozuglo right there. And the others, they saw it happen. Those who were playing soccer or any other games, they just turned around and saw Diamond Tiara, Kozuglo, kissing right there. And it was first of all some of the Swedish students were talking, and suddenly it was just quiet. It was like the whole world stopped. And after that, Diamond Tiara explained that she also had a crush on Kozuglo. She was actually going to tell her right after when she took off. But now she had at least told Kozuglo how she feels for her. And Kozuglo, surprising enough, she was actually really happy that Diamond Tiara had feelings. And they actually decided to go out on a date together on the same Friday. And when Kozuglo came home, Rarity was already aware of what happened since Sweetabelle told her. She then mentioned that they are going on a date on Friday. So They were surprising, but Rarity offered help to find maybe a good outfit for Kozuko. Maybe a ribbon for Maine, or maybe some a dress or something. She took that offer, and on Friday, they actually went. They actually had a dinner at Diamond Tiara's home. Her parents was in town for a couple of days, so they wouldn't be bothered much. So they had their first dinner and their first romantic date at Diamond Tiara's home, and they actually just had a great time. They had a laughter. They just had this a great time. Even after the first date, though, Diamond Tiara asked Kosugo if she wanted to be her girlfriend. And Diamond Tiara was happy when Kozuglo said yes. They gave each other a hug and a kiss, and Kozuglo went back home. When they start dating, Diamond Tiara was really very afraid that her parents would not accept Kozuglo as her girlfriend. But surprising enough, when she told her parents when they came back home from after their first date, her dad, filthy rich, was actually supportive. Even her own mom was also supportive, but at first she was a little bit hesitant at first, but she noticed how happy she were with Kozuglo. And Kozuglo, even herself was a little bit scared if Diamond Tiara's parents would even accept her. But when it happened, when they even invited over Kozuglo to have dinner with the whole family, Diamond Tiara and her parents, they wanted to know more about herself, even though they knew what she had done in the past. But they wanted to know more about herself, like what she liked to do, what her plans are for the future, in well, something like that. Even when Kosoglov mentioned that she, at first, she doesn't have any particular plans for the future, but she's surprised that Diamond Diara's parents were surprised and heard to hear that. But at least that she wasn't really sure exactly what she was going to do in the future. But she will try to be maybe an actor or maybe a teacher at school of friendship. But Cozy Globe mentioned that even though she hasn't really decided yet at the moment, but the path for her future is still open, and it still had many opportunities for her, and Diamond Tiara's parents actually accepted it because they both knew, because they both said when they were in their age, they didn't know exactly themselves for that, especially Diamond Tiara's dad. He didn't know at first if he was going to be a businessman or if he's continuing the family business or if he was going to be something else. But even though they were actually supportive and happy, and after a while, though, Daimachara's relationship with Kosuglo actually started growing stronger and stronger for each day. And after they had been together for nearly 7 years later, they actually got engaged. Diamond Tiara proposed to Kosuglo at the park, and Kosuglo couldn't be more happier. But they decided to wait another 2 more years just to get married because since they really wanted to be something. Kozuglo had just been started to work as a teacher assistant at School of Friendship. And Diamond Tiara, she actually worked at the jewelry store in town because she loved to make jewelry. And after 2 more years, they actually got married. They had their wedding at Sweet Apple Acres because they wanted to have a beautiful view and open place that were big enough for all their friends and families. And they actually had a great time there. Even after the wedding, though, that at a party which Pinky organized, both Diamond Jara's mom and dad welcomed Kusuglo part of the family, which she accepted. Later, they actually went to a tropical island resort for the honeymoon for about a week, which both Dami and Tiara's parents paid for. There, they had a great time, enjoying the beaches, swimming in the ocean, just having a great time. After being married for 2 years, Diamond, Tiara, and Coast Glow asked Twilight for help, then since they wanted to have a family of their own. And Twilight, she was willing to help them. And Coast Glow decided to be pregnant first. And they later learned they were expecting a boy. A few months later, they had their son, which they named Caramel Moon. Caramel Moon was actually quite shy when he was young, but it was something that he loved to do, and that was baking. Surprising to both his parents that he was actually very interested in bakery. So, when he was about 10, 11, he applied for apprenticeship, or at least to be work as part-time job at Sugar Cube Corner with Pinky as like his teacher, and he was accepted. And eventually, when he was getting older, he wanted to work at Sugar Cube Corner along with his former mentor, Pinky. And when he was about 16, he was actually accepted as a full-time job worker at Sugar Cube Corner. And a few years later, he actually fell in love with a mayor from Ponyville, and they actually got married after being dating for about 3 years, and they had twin daughters of their own. 4 years later, Diamond Tiara wanted to have her own baby also, and so became pregnant with a daughter which she named Glowing Heart. Glowing Heart was a really outspoken filly. She loved to play games with her friends, to read books with her parents, and she was also a fast flyer like her mom. She was at that age, and her dream job was to be a teacher at the School of Friendship, like her mom, Kosuke. And eventually, when she was old enough, she applied for the school as a student, and she loved it. She made a lot of friends quickly. When she even mentioned to one of the teachers that her dream job was to be a teacher at school, to teach others, the next generation, the same fun as they had been teaching her at school. All of the teachers have actually supported her dream. And when she was 19, she applied for a teaching job at the School of Friendship. And even though that she studied some her teachings of studying to be a teacher on her spare time to be official teacher. When she was 22, she was actually then official teacher. She was immediately offered a position at School of Friendship as a teacher, which she accepted. 4 years later, she became married with a stallion from Ponyville, and they had one son and one daughter together. 4 more years later, Diamond Tiara wanted to have some more children, so she became pregnant a second time, and she had a daughter which they named Rose Wings. She was really an outspoken pony when she was young, like her older sister, Glowing Heart. She became a well along well with her parents and her siblings. But unlike her parents though, she loved fashion. She wanted to be a fashion designer one day when she was old enough. And her role model was actually Rarity. She looked up to Rarity and even asked her to teach her when she was just a filly how to become a famous fashion designer. Even when she was about 12, she actually was offered by Rarity to become her apprentice assistant, and she accepted that offer right away. So for the next few years, she was actually became not only apprentice but officially her assistant, and her dream to be a fashion designer only got stronger and stronger for each single day. But eventually, when she was 19, Rarity took her to Manhattan for the first official fashion show. And, and as a bonus, Rarity had a surprise. She was showing some of Rosewing's own designs at the show, and that was something that she didn't tell her at first, because when she saw that, she was surprised and was expecting Rarity was saying that's her designs. But after that, Rarity walked out on the catwalk, informing the audience that the last design that they saw was not her own. It was in fact her assistant, Rosewing. And Rosewing was so embarrassed that she didn't want to go out there, but she did, and the audience loved her design. And after that, Fancy Pants and among other fashion designers actually offered to sell not only that design, but any other designs she had made up. And they would even offer to manufacture some of her designs in her honor and her name. And she accepted that. Eventually, she took over Rarity's boutique in Ponyville when Rarity decided to move to Manhattan. And eventually, Rosewing actually got married with Sally from Ponyville, and they had two daughters and one son together. Cozy Glow couldn't be more happy to be with some pony like Diamond Tiara. After all, she was very like herself when she was in her past. They had a lot of things in common, but her love for Diamond Tiara was only getting stronger for each single day, even when she was afraid of telling her how she felt. But she took the bravery and the courage to tell Diamond Tiara how she felt for her, even that she probably would be told by that she only liked her as a friend and nothing more. But she was happy that she took the courage to tell Diamond Tiara how she really felt for her. And even Diamond Tiara herself, even before Diamond Kusuglo admitted her feelings for her, she was very curious herself, wondering herself if she will ever find her true love one day. But when she realized that Kusuglo had feelings for her, she realized she had to do the same thing. And she was actually brave. She was happy that she actually took the courage to kiss and even admit to Kozaglow how she felt. If she didn't have done that, she may not have found her true love with Kozaglow, and she wouldn't have had found this true happiness, this true amazing happiness with Kozaglow. She was really happy that she took the courage to tell Kozuglo how she felt, and from that day on, she didn't regret it at all. And this is how Kozuglo and Diamond Tiara found a true love got a big family together. The end.